experience the full power of the dark side. Good!
We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough.
What the? Misa back!
Prepare to fire!
Oh no!
Hello and welcome back to Star Wars Beyond the Stars for episode number 20, recorded on Wednesday, January 28th, 2015. I'm your host Fred, aka Sith Lord Corv. And joining me tonight is my good pal Lou, aka Agent Olan.
Hello, Fred. Hello, Twitch, YouTube. What is going on? And as always, greetings from Imperial Intelligence.
The big 2-0, Lou.
That's right. Almost there.
You know, we have a history when it comes to hitting the big 2-0 with podcasts. We've come further than we have in the past.
Yes, we have.
And also with us is Paige, aka Captain Kimbray.
Hi, everyone. We're on episode 20 now because I'm here. I'm good luck.
And speaking of bad luck, over there is Buckeye from Imperial Logistics doing an audit on us.
This long introduction's costing us another 10,000 Imperial credits.
Really, I blame this on Lou. He's the reason that the Empire would take an interest in our finances.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was totally Lou. I told you it was him.
It has nothing to do with us flying around in an Imperial Star Destroyer and only having a crew of 3.
Which I'm still wondering how you guys spend the money on these systems to keep them up and running with only 3 people on the ship.
We don't spend
ask questions.
our money.
And don't look behind that door.
Don't worry, that door doesn't open. It's welded shut from the inside. That is where we put that SIS agent. After we caught him, after we dropped him on question, he survived, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's okay. Forgot we replaced him there. Right.
After a while, the knocking stopped, though, so I think we might be able to open the door again.
I should say so, after I spent 20 minutes trying to figure out how to drain the oxygen from that room. And also joining us, of course, is ID10T, who our auditor was just telling us cost us a significant amount of money when we have to get them repaired from week to week. And also, Treek, who we're not even going to begin to explain what she cost us every week.
Enough.
Enough, and in ways we can't even calculate with real world money. The pain.
It all depends on if you bought her on a flash sale. And we do have something quick to mention here before we get to our actual quick to mention. We have taken the time to set up a little store on StarWarsBeyond.com where you can click on it and it will take you to a website that has all kinds of different swag with our Beyond the Stars logo. And a small portion, very small portion, of anything that happens to sell on there goes toward upkeeping our website and, bandwidth, all that good stuff to help offset the cost. So if anybody would be interested in buying any of that stuff, it's there. And also, as a reminder, we do offer free shout-outs. We'll announce anything you guys have going on. Just shoot us an email, StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. And also, we're available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and SwitchWarNetwork.com. You can like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/StarWarsBeyond Podcast, and you can tweet the show at StarWarsBeyond. Our usual record time is Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time now. And you can find that at twitch.tv/NoSHTGaming. And Paige, what's coming up in the Captain's Log tonight?
Coming up in the Captain's Log, we have our last weekend game. We're going to include Buckeye on that. He gets a turn. Isn't that nice of us? We're also going to discuss the flash drive stuff.
Yeah, stuff.
We'll get there. We'll get there. I don't want to blow your mind too soon. Also, also Agent Olan's intelligence report, where Lou will present. What?
Jedi.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, it's just like
Flesh
how
Rider.
the Flesh Rider.
Yeah, Jedi.
Jedi.
Oh.
Teach, Jedi learn.
Okay, let me
Jedi
try to.
fail.
The Jedi Order Part 1, plus the weekly winner of the Agent Star Wars Trivia Question of the Week, and your feedback in our community holo feed.
Your what back?
Your feedback.
Your Treek back?
Me too.
Your feedback.
Flash shutter.
That still needs to be waxed.
Yes,
Good thing we have Buckeye here now.
I ain't doing that. I ain't here to wax, I'm here to count.
You can count the hairs as you pull them off the two-way tape.
You can count on the fact you're going to wax. Here you go. Here's the supplies. You need to heat this up. Stir this.
Yeah.
Stir it with the little stick.
Isn't this what ID10T's for?
This
No.
episode of Beyond the Stars is brought to you by the number 7. The amount of times that I'm going to smack Buckeye if he doesn't wax Treek's back.
The letter T.
Yes, the letter T, as in Treek, needs her back waxed.
3 is a magic number.
Fine, give me 5 minutes.
You don't need to
gloves are
stir it
over
for
there.
5 minutes. Just a little, right there.
It's sticky. It smells bad.
Of course
No.
it does. You know
No.
how long it took her to get that out?
That's
Oh.
from you petting Treek. That's not the wax.
Oh, wait, that's her vomit. And it's
Maybe
hard
we
to
should-
tell what's in all these different buckets.
Maybe we
God,
should
He's
hose
not
her
a health
down.
Inspector.
Maybe we should hose her down before we wax her. So we're not waxing crud off of her fur. We're actually waxing the fur off of her.
It doesn't matter. She's like a damn chia pet. It grows right back. I think what we need to do is not have the logistics inspector do this, or he might report us to the health department.
Among other things. But anyway, we do have something to mention. And this is coming from Eric Musco about SWOTOR's weekly live streams. And this was posted yesterday on the forums, 27th of January, 2015. And he writes, quote, "Hey folks, let's talk a little about our weekly live streams. First, scheduling. We are not going to be streaming this Friday on January 30th, so you might be wondering when we are streaming next. More on that in a second. We as a team have been taking a hard look at our weekly streams, and we have all agreed on one thing. We could do a whole lot better. We could do a lot better. Although we have a great time doing them, and we don't feel like the format is as good as it should be for all of you tuning in. We have seen a lot of feedback over the past weeks about how and what we stream, and there have been a lot of great points made. Here are some of the things that we plan on doing differently when we start back up again. You ready for this list, guys?
Totes.
Playing classes we are truly familiar with. We spend a lot of time playing classes on the stream for fun. All that does is show us playing something at a fairly mediocre skill level and doesn't make for good viewership. Not saying we're pros, but we can do better.
No.
A heavier concentration on PvE, or player versus environment. I love war zones. They are my favorite content, in fact. However, when we play, it ends up causing a global taunt effect. Someone tuning in is just watching us run out of the spawn area and die repeatedly. Not really a good representation of our content, you think?
They
Guild-
would be dying if I was there.
I love how every single bullet point we're just gonna make a smart ass remark after you read it.
Guild/streamer support. We are working out the details, but we definitely want to figure out methods to include these folks specifically more on our streams. Yay, finally.
It's called being carried.
Yeah.
Right, your turn next page.
Server faction variants. We do this a little bit already, but we can look at being more flexible and bouncing around different servers and factions. Give everyone an equal chance to join in on the fun. Scheduling. We are gonna... Well, he wrote this slide. Okay. We are going to take a look at both the day and times that we are streaming. There are likely better time frames, lengths, days, etc. for our streams to occur.
He said gonna. I don't approve.
Yeah, he actually wrote that, but that's okay. I'm glad Bradford isn't here. A real Q&A. Right now, we passively answer questions as we play. It creates a mixed stream where we are kind of playing and kind of doing a Q&A. We want to separate these. Let's spend some time concentrating on playing with you guys, and then let's stop playing altogether and just answer questions for a bit. Here we look to all of you as well. What would you like to see us do differently with our streams? Any and all feedback, welcome. Eric.
I approve of all of this except for the multi-faction aspect. Screw playing Republic.
Some people want to see that, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, bad people that they don't need to be catering to.
Bad people?
Bad people.
No, good people play
That's
Republic.
just what they want you to think, just like they try to make you think that the bad guys are the Horde. It's the Alliance.
Okay.
Hey, look, I'll put it to you like this. Everybody says that the Empire's the bad ones. But who bombed whose entire planet?
Well,
What year?
not that they didn't deserve it, but...
Yeah, what year are we talking about?
It all depends on the timeline, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
the whole reason that the
Who
Sith
bombed
are
whose
back for
planet? Don't ask
vengeance
open-ended questions.
is for revenge. Because the Republic bombed the crap out of Korriban. Now, why that happened isn't important. All that happened is we got victimized.
Yeah, I'm so glad I'm in that gray area where I just do what the hell I want. All right, going into our captain's log discussion. Our weekend game, Buckeye, what'd you do?
All
Tell
right.
us.
Do I have to? Fine.
Yeah, or I'll shoot you.
And all I have is calculator to protect me. Definitely doesn't hold up against pistol, sadly.
Could grab Treek.
Goopa noopa.
Yeah, but then I think I'd lose either way.
She's climbing on your lap already.
She likes
so
you.
bad.
Aw.
Well, this week I pushed my first Republic tune to 60, and I felt like a traitor the entire way. I ran some story mode operations, cleared the Ravagers 3 times, Temple of Sacrifice once, and I failed on 3 different pug groups on the Underlurker on the story mode, which is very sad and depressing. And then had my normal weekend progression rate team that I lead, and we downed hard mode Bulo, which is the second boss in Ravagers, for the second week in a row, and we've started to wipe repeatedly on Sword Squadron, which is the second boss in hard mode Temple of Sacrifice.
Okay, I'm gonna make you elaborate. Why do you feel like you're wiping on the Sword Squadron?
Well, it's
Like,
just
what do you think's going on?
it's a fresh look at a new fight. I mean, one of the people in my raid team has downed it. All the rest of us, learn mechanics and just getting comfortable with going through the cycles of our rotations and when we need to switch attacking which bosses and making sure we all don't stand in the red circles, which have our healers yelling a lot.
Coincidentally, they breeze through the fight with no problem on the days Buckeye doesn't show up.
I mean, things have been known to happen.
Let's tell Buckeye we're full and just pull out Treek.
She'll piss everywhere. Everything will die.
I mean, I have been threatened to be replaced by Treek in my raid team.
As soon as they let companions come out and ops, you're gone.
Well, it's fun while it's lasting.
Wait a minute. You're dumping me for C2 too? What? What is this?
Ooh.
And I'm a tank.
Quick, get 2VR right in here. Come on, third stringer, you're up.
Actually, we dislike Buckeye so much, we're gonna use Cleo.
Oh.
Ooh.
Wow, you just like took it to a whole new level.
So,
Ouch.
Buckeye,
Yes.
as a progression raider,
Mhm.
how are you liking the raids in Shadow of Revan compared to last expansion?
I like them. They're new and fresh, so not a lot of us have seen it because it's new content. Unlike everything else, that was getting stale. But there are enough interesting little challenges on each one to where it's frustrating yet very rewarding when we end up downing a boss.
Now, can you remember back to when you first started doing the old raids, and are they about on par difficulty-wise?
It depends because I took a break between or when Oricon initially came out, so I left at an older raid content and came back into the Dread Fortress and Dread Palace cycle, and the raid team I got put on was slightly behind in gear. So obviously, as everything goes in progression rating, the better your gear, the easier the operations are. So I would put them. I'd put certain things slightly harder because they pull out different tricks that they used in old Operation boss encounters and take 2 or 3 things from different ones and place them all together. So it makes for a fun time for those that like to bang their head against the walls and large repair bills.
Well, since you were pretty much there for that 14-month content lull and raids,
Yeah.
do you think that it was worth the wait for them to put out 2 raids at once, or do you feel that they should have put one of them out in the middle of that 14 months?
I wish they would have put something new out, but I understand that the 2 new raids that we have now are, well, one's content specific in Temple of Sacrifice, and the other one's completely related to Rishi in itself. So without those 2 new planets, they would have had to make an operation that was linked closer to call it, CZ-198. They'd have to build an operation around that.
Now, these new raids, the reason why you're saying they tie into the planets, aren't these the first ones in a while? Like, you can't get to them from the fleet, you actually have to go out and go to them?
Yes, that's true, unless you're doing the group finder, which is the auto summon. But yeah, their Temple of Sacrifice operation is at literally at the very far end of Yavin 4. So you more or less have to go through the content in order to get it or get to it. But Dread Fortress and Dread Palace were also on a planet, so it's following that aspect of it's not directly launched from the Zyos Shadow.
But if they really wanted to put it out during that 14 months, they could have made a way to get to it from the fleet.
Yeah, and they could have just said it was on a different planet and completely linked it to something else.
Or they could have said it was on Rishi and just you can't actually go there yet.
Yeah, that's true. They could have, but I'm not the one designing everything. But I do think they did a great job on this expansion. So I'm not going to be one to complain much, looking back.
So now that we actually have it, you think it was worth the 14-month wait?
Compared to it, yes and no. I'm glad it's as good as it is, but I think they could have, done it in less than 14 months. Call it 10. So less than a year would have been nice.
I agree with you. I don't like it when game companies I don't like when they take anywhere near a year to put out new content. I could see about a year for a formal .0 expansion, but the amount of time it took for them to add new raid content was just ridiculous this last time.
Agreed. And hopefully it will be a more regular 6-8 months.
Hopefully so, especially since they're talking that they're planning on getting out 2 new expansions this year.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume at least one of those, if not hopefully both, will have at least 1 new raid each.
I will be surprised if both of those are like the formal .0 expansion. I'm kind of anticipating that at least one or both of them are going to be like a huge patch, add something to the game type thing.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all if one was a big PvE content upgrade, and the other one, if you're talking about adding something to the game, you're looking at the scale of Strongholds or Starfighter.
Yeah, I just don't know what that would be unless they're going to actually add a PvE Galactic Starfighter.
Right.
Which they have that. It's called On Rails.
Well, if they just took the rails away from the on rails and let you use any of your GSF ships, that would be amazing. I mean, even if the NPCs were scripted and went the same way every time, it would just be cool to be able to fly around freeform, add a whole new dynamic to it. Especially if you can't lock your missiles on and make them just fly to the target every single time, or if they give the NPC ships some type of evade ability that they can use on a cooldown.
Not sure they have the willingness or programming strength to do such.
Yeah, it'd be very ambitious. It'd be nice to put it in there, but at this point, I don't know if they can do it.
Well, only one way to find out. They'd actually have to invest into it and see what they can do. I mean, because it sounds like from the past when they talk about things like the pod racing minigame they tried to add, they've experimented with different things and found out that they can't do it. So, only they know what things from their wall of crazy they've tried to implement and haven't had success.
Fair point.
Alright, so Paige, what have you been up to over the last week?
As always, I played my operative in PvP, and I'm so ready for a new war zone. I don't know if that's selfish or greedy. I think I might actually be getting burned out on PvP, because that's all I've been doing. Shocker, I know, because I'm such a troll and I'm so good at it. But I think I need to reshift my focus back to my main, finish what I was doing with her, and then decide what else I want to do when I'm not focusing on her. I think it might be time to push my power tech and Fred's sorcerer to the end of the game. I'm really nailing the healing on my operative, and I feel like I need to be working on my tank now because I've been out of practice. I was doing well when we were playing, but it's been a while, and after I don't play a character for a while, I kind of get a little loopy when I start trying to play again. I'm like, oh my god, what do I do? Checked out the new tricolor crystal. I really like the one that Fred bought. I don't remember if it was purple, blue, or if it was blue, purple. Fred, which one was it?
The one that I got was out of a cartel pack, so it was the white, blue, purple.
Okay, white, blue, purple. Okay. I really liked that one. I thought it was really neat. You should totally buy me one. Hint, hint, hint. And I did make fun of Fred's new character. He'll tell you all about that when it's his turn. That's all I did this week.
Well, on that note, though, it's very confusing that they actually added a cartel crystal that is white, blue, purple, and then they have a crafted crystal that is white, purple, blue.
That's why I was confused for a minute. I was like, which one was it?
Yeah, do I do salt and pepper first, or do pepper and salt? What's the difference?
Exactly.
Colors are there.
All right, so what have you been up to over the last week, Lou?
Well, cashing in or looking in on my main DPS characters, which are my Sentinel, my Marauder. And yes, even after all the, I guess, the fallout from since when 3.0 hit, and all the changes that affected both classes, I've been experimenting on both my Sent and Marauder. And I actually looked at a couple of guys that are on Dolphy's site. And I'm sorry, you guys can see the notes, but in the notes I actually have linked the two guys I'm looking at, and I'm trying them out because right now both my Sentinel Marauder aren't 60 yet because my Marauder doesn't hold until Paige, Fred, and I can actually finish the rest of Shadow Revan together on that one, on that character, and my Sentinel is going solo, and I'm currently wrapping up the Forge Alliances arc, and then I'll hop on to Rishi when that comes up next. So I'm taking a look at these guides, hoping to see if these two players put these guides together, see if it works for me, or as always, I'll tweak it. If I can adapt to my play style, because I have fun with these classes. I mean, yes, they underwent massive changes, but when I first hopped onto these characters when 3.0 hit, yeah, it felt different. I'm not, I admit that it felt different. I felt I wasn't hitting as hard, but I was still able to, do what I had to. I didn't feel like someone cut the legs off from me. Maybe took a couple swipes at my legs, but no, I didn't feel like my legs were chopped off. And the important thing is I was still having fun with these classes. I was still having fun with my Sentinel, still having fun with my Marauder. And half the fun was, figuring out exactly how bad or, how good were these changes.
Oh, no. They're not going to cut off your legs, Lou. Your legs are reserved for Zoller to come back. They're sparing your legs for him.
Yeah, and my operative. Oh, Zoller's back. He's going to kill the operative class again.
Zoller never really left BioWare. He's out in the shed working on his lightsaber.
Oh, gosh.
He can't figure out the ritual to assemble it.
Good. Hope he never figures it out.
Good.
So, in the next week or so, as I finish leveling up these characters and trying out, in full these guys that I'm looking at, I'll give more feedback on that when that comes around. I've also been running my Sage through the end of a class story because once 12 times XP ended and I got that Sage to 55, I pretty much stopped playing her, so she was on the back burner. But now that I'm rolling these other characters through Shadow Revan, I figured, all right, let me keep pace and let me get back to these other characters and keep them on par. Because sooner or later I will go back to all these characters and finish up their stories. Put them on, doing the dailies, doing everything on them. So what I have her doing now is I brought her back to, she's got to finish up Corellia. That's how far back she is. And then start in the normal way, like the original way. Go back to Ilum, go to Ilum, start the storyline there, open up the dailies, go back for Belsavis, not Section X, the other dailies area, Belsavis. And, of course, the Black Hole in Corellia. And doing that is probably a nice, easy way to get to 56 without a problem. So I'm looking forward to that. And my operative, of course, I did the weekly, finished that on Yavin, and now I actually chose Loken. So he's got the companion gear set. He's got it, but I haven't finished moving stuff around him yet. He's got it, though. He's all set.
What customization did you give him?
Oh, he's got the normal one. I really don't... For Loken, I just keep his original look where he's a grizzled old man.
Yeah, I got one like that, but I made him a redhead, so he's a grizzled old balding redhead.
Wow. At least I try to keep him distinguished looking with the salt and pepper look, but okay.
Oh, he's very distinguished. He's the only Loken I've ever seen that looks like that.
Trying to say that gingers aren't distinguished?
Yes.
Or is that how it is?
Gingers are bland.
Is that how it is?
Mm-hmm.
Because I find myself to be a rather spicy individual. A little saucy.
I find your lack of hair pigment disturbing.
What?
And she has silver white hair.
If
Or
I
is it
didn't
all
have any
black?
pigment, my
think
hair
you
would
meant
be white.
Skin pigment. Fred, I think you're referring to the horrible disease known as gingivitis.
Peter Griffin, where are you?
See, I don't even.
Hold
call
on, let
this,
me
like,
bust out the Listerine. You wash your hair with this.
I don't even call myself pale. I'm like a porcelain doll. I'm so cute. And not modest. Go on.
Anyway, now that's done. Next character that's coming up is Temple. Says I do want to take Temple out and see how well I keep her alive while I'm doing stuff on the operative, healing operative. And the same thing, I'm also looking at a couple of other people's builds on the forums because I actually want to start taking this character out since I did finish Shadow Revan with her. She's got the complete set of gear that you can get from Yavin 4, without doing the flashpoints or operations. And like I said before in the past, yes, now I think she's ready. I'm actually going to start taking her out and start healing at least story modes for all the flashpoints. Get practice over there, and then eventually brave the pug for an operation somewhere down the road.
Public service announcement. Louis Olan apologizes in advance for anybody that he happens to kill while healing in a pug.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, was that you dying? Okay. Sorry, energy starved operative. Sorry.
Done, 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 done. Another pug hits the dust.
And so yeah, that's been my week so far.
And as for me, have any of you guys seen the Blade Savant armor that was added in the last cartel pack?
Kind of, yes.
I have, because you showed me.
Anyway, so you look like a Jedi ninja. And by that I mean samurai. Yes, this armor set, you actually look like a Jedi samurai. Like, the helmet looks kind of like that. But the weird part about it is, the part that goes over your eyes actually comes down, and it is like a solid sheet of titanium or something that you couldn't possibly see through. And the gloves...
Unless you're a Jedi and can see with the Force.
Well, I'm getting to that. But the gloves have this like ridiculous thing that sticks out the back of them, and then it's almost like they have wrist plates, but they stick out way far from the actual gloves. And I was telling Lou, the only way that would make sense is if they're like made of cortosis for blocking incoming lightsaber attacks.
Yeah, when I looked at it before we started the show, not too long ago, I was like, that armor, that wrist armor, those braces don't make any sense, because why do you have the actual armor far away from the body part it's trying to protect?
Yeah, that part didn't make any sense. And in fact, the whole armor set for a regular character looks horrible. And interestingly enough, BioWare knew that this wouldn't be a popular armor set, because once you have the entire set, which I managed to pick up for a whopping 16K, like the day after it unlocked, it only costs you 60 cartel coins to unlock it across your entire account.
That's because no one wants to use it.
I know, but I just think that's sad that when they add these armor sets, they already know which ones are ugly and people aren't going to want to use, and they make them cheap to unlock account-wide. Because I've seen armor sets before where you pay like 600 cartel coins to unlock it account-wide.
Mm-hmm.
This one was 60.
And it almost makes you want to write a ticket saying, is this correct? Is this supposed to be right? 60 cartel coins? Or am I missing something?
They're like, oh god, just take it, please.
Yeah, no, guys, this is for you. It's all for you.
And I really wonder about general pricing, because things used to be expensive right after the cartel pack came out, but they just added the white, blue, purple color crystal in this last cartel pack, and I got the Hawkeye one for about 200k. Now I should say this is all on Shadowlands. On Jedi Covenant it would probably be 400, 500k.
I was gonna say, which server were you playing on?
Yeah, Shadowlands is the best server, let's be honest.
Shadowlands economy is way better than on Jedi Covenant. Jedi Covenant, man, the prices are at least doubled for almost everything. I mean, I literally got on there and got that Blade Savant armor, the entire set, for 16k, buying the individual pieces. And on Jedi Covenant, I'm sure that would have cost me at least 160k, even being as ugly as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would have got all the little pieces, like the gloves, boots, all that, for about 1k. But then when I got to the chest and legs, they would have been about 150k each. It's just how that server rolls. And because I happened to notice that they added in the new Artificer crystals, I went and abandoned my Cybertech for now. Not abandoned it, but I gave up working on that character for now, and I went back to my Artificer and actually got him to 500 in Artificing now. But I need a whole gang of color crystals and gems to actually make the new color crystals, so I'm going to be doing gathering missions forever, because it requires the purple rare gemstone to make these, and those are very hard to get in past tiers.
Or you could just do Conquest, or get the Jawa junk to trade in for them. Or you can play your slot machine.
I have a whole bunch of Jawa junk now that you mention it.
Ew. Oh, wait, Jawa John. Sorry.
Yeah, like the stuff we throw in the power core to power the ship.
Like auditors?
Do you know how expensive that stuff is?
Like Utini. We pick it up for free.
You sure about that?
Every time we go to Tatooine, we take 2 barrels and we just fill them up with Jawas. Hey, I'm not the crook here.
Lou is the crook here. Lou.
Yeah, Lou. Or should I say Marcus, your undercover name?
Marcus? Who uses that alias?
You.
Sounds so normal.
It's spelled with K's. Marcus. Like 7 K's in a row and then the I-S. Marcus.
We've all probably seen someone with a name like that on the server somewhere.
I don't know anybody that has weird names.
Oh, no. No. Force forbid we see someone like that. With names like that
it could be even worse, though. I could be one of those people that just, like, every character I make has the same name, and I just find different ways to spell it. Not that we know anybody like that, either. Glares at Buckeye.
What? No. Okay, maybe a little bit. All right, the apostrophe turns into a hyphen and is placed in different locations in the name.
And then when you mix Republic characters, he names them all Sockeye. That's your Jedi Knight Sockeye.
Something like that.
Sockeye, isn't the fish?
Is that a real fish?
No, I think he means sake. You know, the drink.
Cool. Drink with a kick like a mule. Oh, it's still so good, though.
Want a Twizzler?
No, remember, never take the Twizzlers.
Buckeye likes Twizzlers.
I do like Twizzlers. I know I shouldn't, but I'm so hungry.
Hey, you can have this Twizzler. It's our way of saying thank you for counting us.
1, 2, 3. Are you done now?
Where'd that Twizzler come from?
My armpit. Where they all come from, it's cheaper that way. You should be proud. Okay.
And see, Treek's eating your vomit. That's how we feed her.
Yup.
Circle of life.
The circle of life.
No wonder there are people still stuck in the trees. God.
At least now I know my next duet with Treek. Anyway, back to the artificer crystals, though. Even though they require a ton of mats to make, and thank you, Buckeye, for giving me suggestions on ways to get those mats quickly.
Sell your body.
The thing that I like about them, that BioWare actually did right, is these new crystals only require level 10 to use. So finally, the artificers can make something that can compare to cartel market crystals. The only drawback that the cartel market crystals don't have that these do is they don't get added to your collections window because they want to keep the artificers employed. So you get one of them and then you got to get more if you need them. But I kind of don't like that the one crystal that they added is just a mirror of the one from the cartel market and they came out at the same time. That's very confusing.
Well, not only that, it's like, why would I buy it from an artificer when I have all these cartel coins lying around?
Well, you can't just outright buy it for cartel coins. You gotta,
no, but I'm pretty sure I'll get it out of there.
Maybe. But either way, like, what I've noticed about these tricolor crystals is whatever the last color is whatever color the lightsaber looks to be from a distance. So the white, blue, purple one looks purple if you're zoomed out. And the white, purple, blue one looks blue if you're zoomed out. So they do look different, even though they're technically the same colors mashed in there. But the other one, I don't know if it's yellow-orange or orange-yellow. The other artificer one, it just looks like a generic orange crystal for the most part. Like just the trash crystal that comes in everything. You really got to get up on it to tell that it's not.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. See, something like that would make a difference to me because I don't zoom in that close to my characters anyway. So,
See, that's the thing is I really feel like they made orange and yellow crystals just seem like garbage because every weapon comes with them. Like when I get a weapon off the cartel market that has one of those little yellow crystals in it that has no stats or has no crystal and it looks yellow, I just would never want to use a weapon that looks like a plain yellow crystal because it just seems like basically like a gray item to me now.
There aren't any pure yellow crystals in the game. I know there's a black yellow, but I'm not sure if there are any pure yellows.
There are. The pure yellow crystal is the one that when you're leveling up artificing, the yellow one is the blue that you can make all along the way. Like leveling up, you get red, green, and blue as green crystals, and you always get yellow as a blue crystal.
Oh, okay.
And then when you get to max level, you get your high-end pure yellow crystals off of the PvP vendor for PvP comms. Well, the schematics to make them. So, normally, if it's not a character I PvP on, I do just enough PvP to get the yellow Hawkeye crystal. And then that's that. But see, most people don't even know that because nobody really wants to seek out a yellow crystal because you see them everywhere. And let's be honest, part of getting a color crystal is to make your character feel more individualized. Indeed. Although I suppose you would seem more unique if you actually used a yellow crystal, since nobody ever does.
Yeah, but yellow just clashes with everything.
I don't know, like... I don't know about just clashing with everything. I mean, if you were really going for the Ronald McDonald look...
or McDowell's. It's not the Golden Arches, it's the Golden M.
America.
If you were going for the Ronald McDonald look and you didn't happen to ruin 40 people's lives in the last PvP season...
Yes, I wonder who would be so dastardly to do that to 40 complete strangers on the server.
Those bastards. I don't know who would do that.
A rapscallion indeed. As someone who knows these things, I can tell you yellow doesn't look good on anyone.
Well,
just don't. No.
To be fair, Lou, when I was ruining people's lives like that, Buckeye was an accessory to that because a lot of times I was going against him in those war zones and he was helping to slaughter my group.
I told you that ranked queues were popping.
Yes, he actually helped me get in there because I was about to just give up hope. And he's like, hey man, they're popping. So I went up and I queued and kept going against Buckeye, getting killed, going against Buckeye, getting killed. And that was fine because I wasn't there to win. I was there to get a match under my belt. Although Buckeye was a jerk, he would just target me right off the bat.
I know.
So then I started getting smart and I'd run behind the rest of my team and then they would just beat Buckeye down. Did you notice that, Buckeye? Toward the end matches, like you were getting killed before you could kill me?
Yeah.
I started telling my group and party chat to target you because you were a juggernaut in full PvP gear.
Except I'm pretty sure I was on my assassin and was in half PvP gear.
Yep. But I got you focus fired because I got tired of you just tunnel visioning me.
Well played, sir. Well played.
So you threw Buckeye under the bus. Here you go, there's the hover bus. Oh,
It didn't matter. I was going to die anyway for the most part. But what was surprising was on every character that I did that with, I seemed to win 2 of the ranked PvP matches. And one of the ones that I won on that character was the first one that I was in with Buckeye where I told my entire team to target him.
I know that guy.
Beat him down, and then we ended up winning that one. It was like the fastest I've ever seen Buckeye go down ever. Good times. There's nothing quite as fun as having your friend brutally murdered. Right, Buckeye?
It depends on your point of view. For me, right, in this sense of the story, no. It was not.
Well, remember the first half of the story where you just kept killing me.
Well, yeah. But I didn't have to tell anyone to kill you.
Well, that's true. But
Uh,
you are a PvPer. I
Not really.
am just somebody that wanted a color crystal before I knew what it was. Because if I would have known what that crystal was, I wouldn't have been there.
Wait a minute. Were you guys playing on both Imperial characters, or was this faction versus faction?
Faction versus faction.
Yeah,
Okay.
because over on Shadowlands, all my high-end characters were Republic at the time.
There you go, Jay. Yes, it was. No, it was Empire versus Republic. So.
Yeah, I don't care. I still got the W. Whether I had to have other people help kill you or not. See, Sith use all resources at their disposal. You should know this.
even lies like that's a full juggernaut.
Yeah,
Here.
me
Oh
as
my
well.
God, kill him.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I did to you what Darth Barris does throughout the entire game. I just told a bunch of people what they had to know to come after you.
Like I said, it's a point of reference.
The funny part was when they dropped you, everybody was like cheering in group chats, like, "Yeah, we got the guy down that was carrying that team."
God.
I mean, I do tend to put the team on my back.
It was funny though when you died. Like they all scattered and went in different directions. Your entire team. It was like when a pack of wild dogs attacks you, and you cut down the leader with your lightsaber. All the other ones turn and run.
Sure, why not?
No,
Okay, yeah.
Because I cut down a pack of, rabid dogs with my lightsaber, on a weekly basis.
You do that too?
oh, you go an entire week without having to do it again?
Surprising. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, you should go to the 3rd floor and start counting.
I think that they might just be really big rats, though.
I don't know. I'm hoping that one day Treek will be next to him and we'll just accidentally kill the wrong thing.
They're just core slugs who snuck on from Korriban.
Oh, you're talking about the 4th floor.
Oh, okay.
They didn't sneak here. Those are my pets.
An entire floor? Seriously?
They breed a lot faster than you might think, Lou.
I don't like to think about core slugs. Okay, I'll take your word for it.
All right. So then, what else I've been doing is working up my crew skill, and I've noticed that it costs about 2K a pop to send out one companion, and it takes like 50 minutes for them to come back with 4 materials. That sucks. Because now maxing out the skill is not the hard part. The hard part is getting the materials you need to actually make the things you want to make. I wish that there was a way to just know what the mission was going to give you back, and for those purple gems, rather than them just being a random chance on a grade 11 gem mission, I wish that they would just put a mission in there to get purple gems, even if it takes twice as long to run. If you're guaranteed to get the purple mission or the purple gems from that mission, that would be much appreciated. Because I know for the level 50 stuff, some of the die requires the purple gems from the level 50 content, and I will send my companions out to do the level 50 gem missions every chance I get, and I'm lucky if I get 8 gems a week. They keep coming back with the trash gems for that tier, which, they're like the blues, but they're trash because they're not what I need. Purples are exceedingly rare. And then, as Paige was alluding to earlier, I made a new Sith Pureblood Jedi Sage to use the Dreadlocks customization. I always try to use these new customizations that come out for male characters because I never play females or humans, but I do try to do what I can to help them test new features when it aligns with something I'm willing to play. So I bought the Elvis hair, the pale Sith eyes, and now the dreadlocks. I hope that they keep coming out with new customizations like this, but I did unfortunately find a bug with the dreadlocks, because those of you that have been following me for a while now know that I absolutely hate when something clips in this game. And with the dreadlocks, there is one dreadlock that is very visible on the character selection screen. Kind of harder to see in the game, but if you turn your character around, there's one dreadlock that just has this graphic like jetting out the bottom of it that like stabs into your character's neck. It looks like a blade coming right out of the dreadlock because the graphic is broken and it's warping. So, I was a good Samaritan. I submitted an in-game bug report. I went on the forums, posted a bug report with a picture. Hopefully they fix this because I spent good cartel coins on this hairstyle, and if they don't fix it, I'll end up either changing that character's hair or not playing him anymore.
Or making a new... I'm sorry, go ahead, Buckeye.
So you're telling me you're going to spend more cartel coins to change his hair?
No, more than likely I would end up just deleting the character and then making another one if I really wanted to play that.
Making a new Sith Bob Marley. Okay.
No, more than likely I would be making another species altogether, and it would just be a different character all on its own. Because I wanted to make somebody to use the dreadlocks, and out of the ones I had played with, the Sith Pureblood was the only one I could get to look halfway decent with dreadlocks. And there was also another weird bug that I reported when I first was playing with it, where sometimes when your character jumps or attacks, where they're leaning forward, the dreadlocks will actually go into your character's head and get stuck on their neck. But man, that one is a lot more rare to happen, and it easily fixes itself as soon as you jump or do anything to move the dreadlocks. Because they have... These dreadlocks really impress me because they have a very realistic weight system to them, unlike Leiku or anything else that they've given weight to. These dreadlocks actually move naturally. And I think they did a really good job with them. That's why I hope that they fix that little graphic error with them. And I think that's about all I've done. Yeah, I made him I worked him through Coruscant, and on episode 18's YouTube video, you can actually watch my gameplay on Tython.
Nice.
So, Lou, what do we have to talk about tonight?
All right. One of our points of discussion. If you've all been tracking, PAX South for this year just ended last week, or actually a couple days ago. All right, and BioWare was there. So there were a couple of folks from SWTOR down there for the tour, Cantina tour, which is at San Antonio. And there are a few things that they shared with the folks there. And here are a couple of points we're going to discuss. One of the things that they let out was the new costume designer when patch 3.2 comes out. All right, they also talked about 2 more game expansions before the end of the year. All right, again, the new race, the Togruta. And they also announced the possibility of a new stronghold. They also announced a new planet, Zyos, which is coming out in April. And they did say that apparently the new, the story arc will continue. All right, there's going to be more story which will continue after the events of Shadow of Revan. So for those of you who completed that particular content, we all know how it ends. Not going to spoil it for anyone. Supposedly, the stuff they've got planned will pick up just after that. So you'll see it going forward from there. And those are just a few things that they announced. I believe the rest of it was stuff that they've had before in the previous Cantina. But these are the points that we wanted to talk about really quick today.
So what specifically did you want to hit on with the flash drive stuff?
Well, let's see. I did want to talk about if anyone had any ideas about the costume designer that they talked about, because apparently they said it's coming out, but the finer details weren't coming out until later on, like another couple weeks. And looking over the information that's on Dolphy's, that apparently there's going to be a video put out that's going to show players exactly what this entails. So I'm wondering, costume designers, outfit appearance, outfits, appearance, what? What exactly talking about? Are we talking about an appearance tab, or maybe, transmogging certain items to look like other items? Okay, or something completely off the wall, saying, are they allowing players to submit their own submissions for what player armor should look like?
No.
But
I remember Bruce McLean was talking a little bit about this with Gadok T when he interviewed him at the same time when he leaked the Togruta and all that information about 3.0. And the only thing they really talked about as far as costume designer went was that he was looking to use this as a way to remove stats from color crystals so that you could just flip through and basically change the color of your crystal without messing with the stats or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly how this would work unless they're going to basically forego the system that they have working where you change the mod enhancement and armoring on a piece of gear and your oranges are basically just a skin that you flip through.
Right, or maybe if this, there obviously will be an NPC somewhere on the fleet, and on certain places on the planets, like the capital worlds, to where maybe, just like where we have the appearance kiosk, you go there, you can change the color. I guess with going back to what you just said, Fred, you have the option now to just change the color of your crystal. Without having to buy a new one, all right, or without having to yank it out to do something. No, you can just do it right then and there. Maybe you'll have to yank it out and pay the cost for taking it out, but that's negligible. And maybe if you pay again the cartel coin fee to change it, like if you would prefer to see this color, maybe unlock the new tricolors that are coming out, or any of the two color ones, or just the normal single colors. Use it that way. But that's just for crystals for now. I mean, when you say costume design, costume for me means everything. So, what else can I do? Like, can I change my armor? Can I change, any of my gear? And its outward appearance.
I will be sad if they get rid of the orange gear how it is, because that's one of the unique features about Star Wars: The Old Republic. And I think that they have a very interesting credit sync in the game with that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen another MMO do gear like this.
Right, and for one, I like having the orange gear because I have a ton of alts, and I like outfitting them different ways, like to fit that particular character or fit the mold that I want to place that character in. So yeah, and hopefully they won't do away with that part of the game if that's what they're doing.
What would be cool is if the costume designer is like that item I was trying to push for. Probably 6 months ago or more, where you can actually go up to the costume designer with a piece of green or blue gear and they actually make it moddable. So you can pull the mod enhancement and armoring out of it and use it like a piece of orange. That would be nice.
See, that's what I'm wondering. I'm thinking about other MMOs that have the whole appearance option in the game, and the two that came to mind were World of Warcraft and Lotro. And I'm wondering if maybe coming along with this, they might streamline the whole pulling mods out and putting them back in. Because right now it can be kind of a pain in the butt to, pull out every single one and then put them all back into a new piece of gear, and where did this go, where did that go, all that stuff. And I'm thinking like with Warcraft, you're wearing whatever you're wearing, the piece of gear, and then you put an appearance on top of it. You're still wearing something that could be ugly, but you can make it pretty by, changing the way it looks. But with that game, there are no things like, pulling mods in. I just said it again. Pulling mods out or putting them back in. So I don't feel like that's going to be appropriate. And I'm thinking about Lotro, how you have different outfits, but you have the same stats. So I'm wondering if maybe that might be more appropriate, where maybe you have a couple outfits that your character wears, but your stats remain the same without you having to change things around with your mods. I don't know, because they're talking about a costume designer.
Yeah, so I'm wondering now if it's just going to be how, like one of the more recent MMOs that just came out, The Elder Scrolls Online, to where they do have a costume slot, but instead of an individual pieces of gear, which you have to pick and choose, this actually is one complete outfit. that you can get as either, as a quest reward or a drop somewhere in that game, to where it gives you a complete outfit which overlays your gear appearance. However, since you go to this costume designer, you can tell the costume designer, okay, for the headpiece, I want this. For the chest piece, I want this, this, and this. And that NPC puts it all together as one item. Kind of like for our customizations that we have for our companions. You put it in one slot, and now your entire appearance is changed in one shot.
See, I don't know. I don't like the idea of anything that's going to detract from the orange gear system that the game has. Because it feels like that works out well, and it keeps people striving for that carrot on the stick to get the gear that they want.
Well, what I was suggesting with the different outfits but having the same stats is that you'd still be wearing the orange gear. You could just create different looks and, kind of flip between them whenever you feel it's appropriate. Like, you could maybe have an intimidating looking set of armor for your PvP, and then maybe when you're on the fleet or like when you're role playing, you want something a little more casual or something that looks cool or whatever. I don't know.
What do you think about this, Buckeye?
What this could be really range from everything is turning into legacy gear to what Paige said is that your stats are fixed to one thing or one set of underlying gear, and then you have a cosmetic set of gear that you can change in and out that doesn't affect your stats.
You'd still have to earn the orange gear or buy it or whatever. If you get, I don't even know how to describe it. Okay, like with my trooper, I have a set of gear on her right now that I like. But there are other chest pieces I've seen that I've maybe wanted to switch, but I feel like they don't go with the whole look or whatever. So if I were to earn another chest piece and I didn't necessarily want to give up the one that I had, I'd be able to flip between the two. It's not like you go somewhere and you go, okay, well, this is just cosmetic gear. This is all I want. I mean, I think that they shouldn't do that. They should still just keep what's in the game now, add things as they see fit, but things that are actually usable, like for people who only have one set of gear. You can use the stuff that you earn, and it's just not cosmetic junk.
Well, that's the fear, is that if you do something like that, it is going to be cosmetic junk, because the way the gear works now, if you have a chest piece you're wearing and then one you like drops and you want to use that, you have to pay the fee to pull every single mod out of that first piece of gear and put it into your new one. Whereas if it's a system where you can just switch between them, you don't have that credit sync anymore. And they've been taking more and more things out of the game to the point where there's not going to be any natural credit syncs. You don't even have to pay to train your abilities anymore.
Don't know. For all we know, they're introducing new credit syncs.
Well, when they add new credit syncs, though, they normally cost millions of credits in one sweep.
Which is why they're reducing the cost of things now. Save your money.
Alright, so what's next, Lou?
The next point they brought up was that they did say that they're looking at 2 more game expansions before the end of the year. Alright, so, seeing as how we just received Shadow Revan, alright, this past December. Okay, we're now at tail end of January, so what do we say, a little less than maybe 5-6 weeks, possibly, since SLR came out. All right, and now they're telling us from the latest Cantina is that they're looking at 2 more game expansions. So, what exactly are we talking about? Okay, the size of the expansion. All right, what do you think they're going to include at this point? Seeing as, for those who have finished Shadow Revan, or closing, getting to the tail end of finishing Shadow Revan, all right, where do you think these expansions will lead us into? If it's tied to that content, or they start introducing other story arcs, because it is a big galaxy, all right? There are other things going around in the galaxy, in the Empire, and in the Republic, but they just haven't touched upon it yet. All right, so how big do you think these expansions will be? What do you think they're shooting for in these expansions? Okay, what type of expansion? Are we talking, obviously, a lot of PvE stuff, okay, a lot of maybe Galactic Starfighter, okay, additions to strongholds, definitely additional PvP content, goes without saying, that they will include in these expansions. So, what does everyone think?
I'd like to go first. First, I'd like to say, do you remember for our New Year's episode when we're like, hey, what are the chances that we'll see another expansion this year? And everybody was like, 0. Well, they just proved us wrong. As far as what I expect from these, the first expansion, I'd say I'm estimating it will drop sometime in the summer. And I'm thinking that it'll have a focus on PvP just because I feel like that's overdue. And for the second expansion, I feel like it's going to hit right around the holiday season, not only because it brings in a lot of money to release something around that time, but also because the movie's coming out then, and I think it would be a very smart marketing move on their part to release it around the same time and maybe try to do a little advertising, maybe even a trailer before the movie when it's released.
Bioware.
Bioware, call me. I can really run your whole company. But I think that the second expansion will be more PvE. As far as like upgrading strongholds and everything like that, I just feel like that's going to be sprinkled throughout the year to kind of keep everybody quiet. I kind of like, well, here's a new cartel pack. Here's a new this or that. And then maybe, just maybe, with one or both of the expansions, they might give us a new one on a different planet. Possibly.
I'm going to be surprised if they can get out 2 expansions this year. I think we might end up with a situation like we have with Strongholds, where we get close to the end of the year and the second one gets pushed into January.
All right, what makes you say that, though? Previous track record?
Well, I can't even say previous track record because this game is so sporadic. They don't make any patterns or uphold any type of schedule. I don't know what's going to happen. I just have a feeling that they will have trouble delivering on 2 expansions unless they're both smaller expansions. Like, if we're going to move into the old EverQuest 1 expansion track where every 6 months you're getting an expansion.
I don't want to jump ahead too much, but they did mention how they're going to be bringing out a new planet in April, I believe. So I think that's probably going to be a story-driven expansion. Maybe not an operation-driven at the end, but then the second expansion will be another PvE-focused story content with an additional operation at the end.
Well, do you think that the planet they're releasing in April is part of a patch or part of an expansion? It seems like April's a little soon. I was thinking maybe June that they might release something, because you have people like, going on vacation, they have time at home, you have kids being home from school. It just seems like a good time to release something. April seems kind of soon.
It does, but if you're focused on the story content only, if it's only a story content edition, I don't consider it too early. Because as BioWare has stated many times, that is the most played part of the game, and they're trying to get back to more story-driven content.
Yeah, I'm in a mindset of going on the same lines too, Buckeye, is the fact that I think it will tie in. Since they told us that there's a new planet coming out in April, Zyos, obviously. And I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? That might be the time frame for the first of the expansions. Right? Because obviously that would that makes a lot of sense. If you're going to have Zyos come out, and just looking through the lore, I mean, Zyos is a pretty important world for the Empire. And I think if they want to tie back to more story-driven stuff, to where you have both factions again trying to do whatever on that planet, maybe the Empire trying to take it back or re-cement their hold on the planet, and then you have the Republic saying, all right, what the hell, let's go see what the Empire's doing in our world. Okay, now you have regular quests there. You have the regular planet story arc, which is going on. Okay, and then obviously other things as well, side missions and so on. And maybe, since the new planet, hey, new PvP zones. Definitely. I mean, you have a new planet, new areas of the planet you can use and explore, and base new maps off of that to give the PvP players new battlegrounds to fight over. I think that would be great. And maybe, maybe more flashpoints. Maybe tactical here and there, but regular, other flashpoints, regular flashpoints. And I don't know, Bucky, maybe you think they could toss in an operation this soon with April?
I think April's a little too soon. They might release Nightmare content for the current operations, but I don't think there'll be a new operation cycle yet.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm also looking at the chat. Place was saying, 2 expansions, his or her opinion is 1 free, 1 paid. All right, and that's one thing I think we didn't touch. We didn't comment on either. Do you guys think it's going to follow that format? Like, pay for the Rise Hut Cartel, pay for Shadow of Revan?
No, because the only time we've ever paid for anything is with a level cap increase.
Right, and that's one thing they haven't mentioned as of yet. Who knows? But they obviously, since we just got the new level cap, I think it's still too early to raise the level cap again. So
I'm saying both would be free, and if it goes the way I'm predicting with the PvP kind of expansion going first, I don't expect to pay for PvP stuff. I feel like that would be ridiculous. But with the second one, I feel like they are going to release, operations for the second one that I'm predicting to release around the holiday season. But I don't expect the level cap to go up, so I do think that one will be free too.
Right. Yeah, and that's just one thing I wanted to mention because, obviously it was brought up in chat, and that's actually a good question. Paid, free, what is it going to be? That sort of thing.
What do you think, Fred?
Well, first, I don't think that the Zyos is actually going to be the first expansion. Because I think they wouldn't have mentioned it if that was going to be part of the expansion. Or they would have said, hey, Zyos is coming as part of our first expansion of the year in April. I think that Zyos is just going to be another planet that they add in. Kind of like how we got Manon.
So more like CZ-198.
Well, basically, yeah, just another planet that they add in there. I don't know what its purpose will be, but I don't think it's going to be tied to the expansion. And I think whether there's a level cap increase or not, I think that the second expansion of the year we're going to pay for. Because I have a feeling, at the end of the day, BioWare is still an EA property. They're going to find a way to get expansion money from us.
EA stock's doing fantastic, so I don't think they're as stressed about money as they could be.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it and you're talking about the second expansion maybe being paid, if they do market it in a way that they kind of draw in the people who are seeing the movie, there's a chance that we might have to pay for it, even if there's not a level cap. Because if they're going to grab new people with the release of the movie, they can grab a lot of money during that holiday season, even if the people don't stick around. So maybe, I don't know about the second one.
You know how they could make even more money? Make Darth Malgus come back and have him be the bad guy in episode 7.
Wow, unless we really put him on ice and freeze for all those years.
Well, he did fall down a shaft, and something about the Force Awakens, he could have been asleep for a long time.
True.
No, you just see Luke sitting there with basically a Super Mario pipe above his head, and all of a sudden, Malgus just falls out of it. Hey, where did that pipe? Ah!
Where are those turtles coming from? Where are those turtles coming from? All right, so what else? What are the factors you think they could bring in with these new expansions? Again, it was also mentioned in the chat room. Additional facets brought into Galactic Starfighter. All right, I know we touched upon it before, and maybe what I'm thinking one of the expansions could be, if they added it, is again, they talked about stripping away at least adding PvE content to Galactic Starfighter, meaning just like how we have the regular on-rails shooter for our starships, our class starships, maybe now we can start doing missions similar to that, but in the same freeform style that GSF is, but going to different worlds. Like, all right, now we go to this part of the galaxy. We go to Hut Space. We have 4 or 5 different areas of the map that we can do additional space missions, but with our Galactic Starfighters, and it's in the same format, but it's PvE. Meaning you can do it solo or you can do it in a group. All right, have a complete set of objectives, just like a regular quest, time frame maybe or whatever, and participate that way. Or, I'm sorry, go ahead, Paige.
One of the things, you're talking about Galactic Starfighter, One of the things that I think I'd like to see is, rather than space combat and the on rails, okay, we're out in space thing, it seems like they have an option that they're not really using that I'd like to see them introduce, is kind of where you're trying to hit ground units on a planet, or maybe even, fighting in the air, like just off of a planet, not out in space, not out in deep space, but, there's a lot going on there, kind of like how, Luke was flying around the Death Star and all that stuff, trying to get in there. Like, if you're trying to get that close to a planet to hit something or to destroy something, you don't have to do it from the ground. You can do it from the air. I feel like that's something that they could go with.
Oh, so something similar to the battle over Naboo.
Yes.
Or Phantom Menace. Okay. 'Cause remember, they were fighting to defend the planet from the blockade. So, all right.
I don't know why they never gave GSF a map like that where you're over a planet.
And they might, along with the new game type.
Exactly.
Oh, that would be nice.
I mean,
don't get your hopes up.
I know. I mean, me coming from playing, X-Wing, TIE Fighter, and obviously Star Wars Galaxies, and the Jump to Lightspeed portion of that game, to where you could actually roam the entire star system. Going from, like, imagine patrolling Corellia. I mean, all the planets in the Corellian system, right? Flying over Corellia, doing PvE objectives, and seeing if there's an enemy faction player who's flagging yourself, and trying to kill each other over these planets. Where it actually take you, several months. You could visit. I'm just saying, as an example from that other game, was all right. Take my X-Wing, fly over Corellia, but I could also fly in real time to Trailus and Talos, okay, the other two planets in the system, and do other PvE related stuff there. Or if I saw, if I was on my Alliance character, flag myself, and fly against someone who's flying an Imperial fighter, a TIE fighter, TIE Defender, TIE Interceptor. In the Empire, they got the JSF, the Jedi Starfighter. Bums. Jealous. Taking them on. But again, those are just ideas. But I think that's something that I'd like to see if they are going to expand further on GSF. That's one thing, again, that I think people have asked for. And maybe if you keep asking for it, they'll do it. Or they'll give something similar to it.
It would be nice if at this point, since Galaxies is shut down, that they could get some of those old assets and just basically copy things that were cool about that game and put them into this game if they fit.
Right, and maybe they can. Who knows? Again, we're all just speculating here, and I think it's just good ideas to toss around there, and maybe they'll put them on the wall of crazy and work on it one day.
I wonder how many things are still on the wall of crazy.
Probably
enough.
A lot. All right, so does everyone else have anything else to speculate about? The expansions that are coming out, or supposedly coming out this year?
No.
All right, then let's move on to the next point that they brought up. Obviously, the Togruta, the new race. Okay, and then they're going to give us a new stronghold. So, new race. Yes, Fred is disappointed. It's not a Selkath. All right, folks, it's a Togruta. What are everyone's thoughts on the Togruta? All right, if you're not familiar with Togruta, this is Ahsoka Tano. All right, from Clone Wars.
I think that we three beat this one to death when this first leaked from Bruce McLean. Mm-hmm. So why don't we just ask Buckeye what his thoughts are about the Togruta being the new species?
I mean, it's not a Selkath companion.
You're earning affection, Buckeye.
It's Empire game. Earning affection plus 20.
I mean, I definitely enjoyed. I'm glad they're putting out a new race. Hopefully, because I have all my character slots maxed out, I'll have to either spend the cartel coins to get a new one to look like it, or it's going to force me to play another character starting at level 1. So, I mean, it's a way for them to make money and make me enjoy new content or fresh looking content. So I'm for it.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's what we like to hear, Buckeye.
Yeah, my hope is that they won't have the same clipping issues that the Twi'lek suffered through after all this time.
That will be interesting.
And the second part of this was the three of us have talked at length, and we decided we pretty much want the next stronghold to be on Rishi.
Oh, hell yeah.
So What would your first choice be for a new stronghold, Buckeye?
I'd love it on Yavin, but everyone's leaving the planet. It'd be interesting if they did something on Corellia.
Can you imagine a Yavin stronghold where like you're in there and just passively the ghost of a Junta Paul comes walking through your house?
Hey, what's up? Nice chair.
This throne is mine.
Yes, it's the bathroom throne. Now get off. I need to use it.
This throne is mine. Well, do you mind if I use it? I really need to poo. Treek needs to Shaduki, and we're trying to train her to use the toilet.
I mean, Buckeye, that would be completely cool because, again, another game I used to play, Star Wars theme, the Sith did have a temple that you could use, and it was a pyramid. Just like the Masasi ones you see on Yavin 4.
So, Lou, what is the atmosphere like on Ziost?
Well, today's current temperature is 72 degrees Fahrenheit, sunny with giant meatballs.
You're a jerk. I asked for the atmosphere, not the
Partly
weather.
cloudy with a chance of meatballs. Well, according to the lore...
Take note of this, Buckeye. He's getting a pay cut.
Oh, good. Now we can use that to offset some of the expenses Treek is causing you.
Quit chewing on those wires.
And there went that entire offset.
Alright, let's see here. According to the lore, the world Zios used to be, ancient dark forest. Trees eventually withered away, wonder why, all the evil karma. And became similar to Carbon's landscape, as it is now. And the planet was also icy. Oh, that's great. Great. And it was a focal point for the dark side.
Oh, so basically
Sweet.
we're going to have a Korriban and Hoth baby planet.
So
Not band.
not only is it a bed of evil,
And that's probably also going to be where the new stronghold's going to be.
actually not that bad.
I would not
look
be a
at the
fan
lore.
of that.
They did settle Zios. It did become an important world, so it's going to be settled just like DK is. So
It would need to be the next stronghold would have to be a neutral planet.
Hey, as long as it's not like frickin' Hoth, where you get there and there's a bunch of frickin' immigrants asking you to go get their key cards so they can leave the planet.
no, weren't they former soldiers who were leaving?
No, they were settlers.
Okay.
But the beautiful thing is when you gather it up and then you take the dark side choice and crush their passports right in front of them. So
Wow.
they know they're going to stay there and starve to death on that cold planet.
You're just evil, man.
Thank you. But
You know what?
flattery will get you
Hilarious.
nowhere, Agent.
Well, you know what would be cool though for New Stronghold? Manon.
Monononon.
Ocean view.
Yeah, it's all ocean. Yes, it's all we see is water.
And then every once in a while you get a giant squid that comes and sticks itself to your window.
Ew.
Like that one dungeon in Warcraft.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh my.
Where else do they put the New Stronghold though? We've got on Tatooine. I don't know why. Who wants to live in a place where there's sand everywhere?
A lot of people apparently. That's the most expensive stronghold dome.
Well, it's also the biggest by space.
It's like if I can't fit a full-size Jawa sandcrawler in that garage, I'm not doing it. Sorry.
Oddly enough, I would like to have a terrorist stronghold. I know what you're thinking. The planet is in ruin. But on the Republic side, at least, they've been making an effort to rebuild the planet. And the Empire goes there after the Republic, so they could easily occupy an apartment building that the Republic has rebuilt there.
Right, by kicking the former tenants out, saying eviction notice to be served.
No, just
the
by
Imperial
saying,
Reclamation Corps says get out in a week.
all they say is, "Zzz." I could see that, though. The Republic, if there's people there trying to resettle the planet, there has to be structures to live in.
Mm-hmm.
You could rebuild an apartment building, and then you look down there, and the rest of the planet is just in ruin out there.
Yeah, with all those toxic sludge pools. Oh look, honey, we got our own garden of undead zombies, the rat ghouls. It'll be just like living in 28 Days Later every day. Or The Walking Dead in SWTOR. Look, our 12-foot fence keeps them all out.
I know where you want to have your stronghold, though, Lou. Balmora.
Yeah, I'd bomb it myself if I could.
Would you rather live on Balmora or Tatooine?
Bel Savas.
You know, at that point, I'd take Tatooine because Balmora just really nice.
Really? You hate Balmora that much?
I hate it on both factions. Okay, but that's besides the point.
What about Empire side when you get to kill that guy's wife?
Uh,
You let her go, don't you?
Most of them, yes. My operative, I actually did kill her. My operative. You know what'd be cool? Wait a minute. You know, I just realized a stronghold on the starter world. It'd be nice. A section, you know, you're on Tython, or you're on Korriban. I mean,
Yes,
come on.
I would love to have one on Tython.
Well, if you're a Jedi character, it'd be cool. Or, you know, if you're a smuggler or a trooper, hey, you have quarters there because, hey, you're there so many times helping them out. Hey, these rooms are yours. Okay, thanks.
But let's keep in mind now, the coolest planet that there would be to have a stronghold on would be Voss.
No, the coolest would be Hoth.
That's the coldest, not the coolest. But let's remember, too, several months back we were reading on Reddit that SWTOR Miner had mined something about a Corellia stronghold. And we haven't seen that yet. So
It's true.
we could still have a Corellia stronghold pop up.
Yeah, and that would fit since if you're spoiler, folks, you haven't gotten that far yet. If you know, the public side, you obviously take back Corellia. All right, and then I guess the Imperial side, you're coming back to do whatever damage you can.
Or you could even frame it as it's in the black hole segment of Corellia where it's still up for grabs.
Yeah.
Well, if you pay attention when you're flying through Corellia, there's several areas of that planet you don't actually go to. So there could be one that's still intact and you can just live there.
Right. Isolate from all the fighting, saying, "Oh yeah, the peasants over there are fighting." It's okay. We're good here.
Tell you what, I know it would be completely lore breaking, but Corellia would probably be amazing to live on if it was in a peacetime and you could look out your window and see some of those settings not blown up.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they really went into intimate detail on that planet.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Or heck, let's see, where else could we live? Yeah, I don't think we'd like to live on Archon. That would just freak me out too much.
What about Quesh?
What about Quesh?
What about Quesh? Oh, that planet still exists? I'm sorry. I'm there for maybe 5 minutes at a time.
Well, Lou was just saying that he wanted to live on starter planets, so Hada and Quesh are basically the same planet.
No, but see, on Hada, I could pick on Ewok.
On Quesh, there's a place where you could pick on Selkath.
True.
Only if you're a Jedi Consular. But still.
All right, now that we've beaten that mount, that Tauntaun mount, let's move on to...
Glancing at this giant map of the known planets that I have on my wall here, trying to see if there's any other ones that would be remotely tolerable to live on.
I mean, I'd have to assume that it has to be one of the worlds that are currently on the map, star map we have now in the game.
What about Ilum? It's not used for anything else.
Actually, it might be colder than Hoth.
Yeah, but see, at least on Hoth, you can get those cool planetary defenders outside your door. That'd be nice.
Bel Savas, if you want to live as a prisoner, can give you a prison cell to live in.
Yeah, make our own version of SWTOR's Orange is the New Black. Yeah, we could do that.
Yes, please.
No, SWTOR's would be called White, Yellow, Orange is the New Black.
Black.
On Wednesdays, we wear orange.
Okay. So where do we think that the story is going after the events of Shadow of Revan? Well, let's ask Buckeye, since he's actually done the raids.
Let's actually put the disclaimer in first. Folks, if you haven't finished the story yet.
So, what I'm thinking is going to happen is that the first... going off the fact that I believe Ziost is going to be a story extension, it's going to be an interlude to finding out where the Emperor went. So you're going to get some tip
or a heads up saying, we found these people that are closely linked to the Emperor, and then Zios is going to be part of that arc, saying, okay, where did he go? What's going on there? And then that second expansion at the end of the year will finish up this entire story arc with an operation that ends with the Emperor being the final enemy.
Or it ends with the Emperor somehow taking the Empire back over.
I mean, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I'd be cool with that too.
I would be too. But I kind of like Darth Maul.
I do like Mar.
Yeah, he is actually pretty cool, Seth.
Can we have him on the show next week? I like Darth
Can
Maul.
we just make him into the new Emperor?
Mm,
Like, let's use some Sith alchemy.
Yeah, let's not. Last time we tried that, the radicals were invented. All right, so none of that.
Was that
But
really
they're
the
so fun
last
to
time?
pet.
Was that really the last time the Sith alchemy was used?
No,
what
but
about that guy on Korriban that wants you to get the beast heart or the brain and give it to him?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, where you tell him Melora and she gets zapped and dies?
Yeah, now you got me thinking. All right.
And then there's that guy on Droman Koss that's trying to poison the people with his Sith alchemy. You know, the water tanks, you determine
Yes.
how much poison you're going to put in there.
Yeah,
There's
that
Sith
guy.
alchemy all throughout this game.
Well, I would say alchemy. That's just pure chemistry, man. Not this mystical using the force energies and stuff to
Man,
alter.
if it involves liquids that you brew, that's alchemy. You're an alchemist.
You know what? Make me a better beer. Why can't I have that?
Yeah, give me a beer in this game. So
But-
I want to play an alcoholic Ratataki.
I mean, you could play an altaholic Ratataki.
That's right.
You'd have to be drunk though to play
Playing
with Cleo.
Ratataki, yeah.
Ooh.
You'd have to be. Ooh, yeah.
Hey, I have like 4 Ratatakis, Lou.
So an altaholic alcoholic.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, but seriously, back to the story arc continuation. Yeah, I mean, tying back to what Buckeye said, I mean, we do know that they say they want to bring Zios in, okay, in April. And looking quickly over the lore that's out there now for Zios, I actually think that'd be a pretty good idea for them to follow. You know, if we follow Buckeye's train of thought, all right, it ties into where, you know, just after, if you complete a Shadow of Revan, what happens, those events. And Zios is a gateway. As it says here, you know, it's referred to as the gateway of the Empire, or to the Empire. All right, and it was definitely known in the days of the Old Republic, so if the Emperor had to go hide somewhere, hey, why not? Ancient stronghold for the Sith. Okay, it's strong on the dark side. All right, not only is it strong, it's a focal point. Okay, so that's very important. You know, places like Dagobah, they're focal points of the dark side. So again, it'd be very strong dark side of the Force, and why not? Why wouldn't you go there? And maybe they could tie in stuff to where, again, you know, we have now that Sith intelligence has been formed, okay, and now Theron is leading up the charge in SIS.
Spoilers.
Yes, I put that out there. Did I not? Just in case. All right, you're going to have both factions being, you know, taking at the clues, looking at the breadcrumbs, saying, all right, we think the lead is going there.
Hmm.
So now both sides are being pushed to go towards Zios, and again, you know, do the planetary missions, okay, and maybe toss in some little, maybe just some class story stuff, kind of like we had when, you know, Rishi, hint, and then lead into maybe, you know, again, group content, maybe for lucky, a flashpoint, and then maybe give hints again to future operations that are coming. Like I said, maybe to the second half of the year, you know, where this first part to give Zios is, hey, you know what? This is what the new operation may look like. Or if they're generous, hey, we're giving 2 operations later on this year. This is where they're going to be. You know, you see this big area of the map where you see this huge storyline that's on Zios saying, hey, the logical conclusion is you're going to have to tackle somebody here. later on this year. This is where you're leading up to.
Well, seems like an educated guess that we're going to be going to Zyos to follow after the Emperor.
Right. Again, we're all just speculating here, so.
I personally have no idea where the story is going. But I am going to think about that, and when we do our episode where we really dive into the content on Yavin 4, then I should have some kind of an idea, and I'll share it then. Do you have any guesses, Paige?
Well, every time I guess something, I end up being wrong. I don't know. I feel like this whole, this planet's dark energy, I think that maybe we're kind of, I don't want to say like following leads, but I think that it's going to come up that maybe that's where he is, the Emperor, I mean. And is Zyos going to be a planet where both factions are going or just one?
It'll be both.
Okay, so maybe for the Empire, it's like, find and protect him, and maybe for the Republic, it's like, bring him to justice or something. I don't know.
Or the Empire. Sorry. Couldn't help it.
All right. So then that takes us into the Star Wars recommendation of the week. So what do you got for us this week, Paige?
Something adorable. Okay, for those interested in actually getting a look at the recommendation of the week, I will be posting a link with the photo on the Facebook wall, and I just realized I definitely need to do that for our last episode. This week, I found something on Etsy, and I was searching for something that had a little bit of a Valentine's Day edge to it, because that's slowly approaching us. And what we have here is a card. On the front, it says, "I love you to the that's no moon and back." And it has a picture of the Death Star. So it's supposed to be a play on the phrase, "I love you to the moon and back," but they put a little twist on it with the that's snow in there. The description they give is, "For the subject of your affection that you love to the Death Star, printed on a premium cardstock, it will make the perfect gift for your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, significant other, brother, sister, cat, or yourself." What? Blank inside, and includes an envelope, so you're all set to surprise that special someone with a sentimental statement in style. So you're going to surprise your cat with a card, huh, Buckeye?
Why would I do that, Meow?
What's going on here, Meow?
I just opened up a can of worms.
Doing something like that would really give me pause.
Oh, God. Anyway, I thought it was really cute. So, for those of you who have a significant other that loves Star Wars as much as you do, go on ahead.
If you do, you're very lucky people.
Aww.
Because nobody loves Star Wars as much as me.
I have a movie called Fanboys that begs to differ. No.
I don't want to see your personal stash, Lou.
Hey, this is the good stash. The good Star Wars stash.
And that takes us into Agent Olan's intelligence report.
All right,
Where
folks.
Lou's going to cover the Jedi teach.
Rockton. No, you blockhead. Sorry.
Go dark side, push him in the bonfire.
Oh, gosh. Anyway, as Paige mentioned earlier today, yes, today we're going to cover the Jedi Order. No, not the Jedi that we know of. The actual, original monastic order that was founded almost 40,000 years before the Republic. So the Jedi Order, Part 1, in beginning. And I wish folks could see the notes, because I actually have the symbol that the first Jedi ever used for the Order. And it looks vaguely familiar, doesn't it, everyone? So, in a quote by one of the first, "In the light, there is a darkness, and in the darkness, a light. It is the way with us all. Be a prisoner of neither Bogan nor Ashla. Strive to live in balance. As Tython itself teaches us, it is dangerous to do otherwise. And danger is there. Always." By K2. The Jedi Order was an ancient organization unified by its belief and observance of the Force on the planet Tython in the galaxy's deep core. Focusing on maintaining a balance in the Force, a state at which Tython was itself hospitable, the Jedi saw the Force as two aspects of a whole, the Ashla and the Bogan. They saw this duality in the Force represented in the night sky of Tython in the form of two natural satellites, one bathed in light, another shrouded in darkness. In keeping with their ideal balance, Jedi who fell too far to either the light or darkness were exiled to one of the moons to meditate until they returned to balance. The Order's presence on Tython was spread between 9 temples, each of which was presided over by a Jedi Templar Master. In order to gain mastery in the Order, all Jedi were expected to travel to each of the temples to hone different skills. The Order was led by a Council of Masters, consisting of the 9 Temple Masters, which decided important matters and directed the Order. Surviving on Tython for millennia in isolation from the rest of the galaxy, the Order was deeply shaken by the arrival of a Force Hound from the Infinite Empire. Dun, dun, dun. In the years following the Hound's initial crash landing on Tython, a schism shook the Order to its foundation. After a bloody civil war, known to the history as the first conflict between light and dark side philosophies, the dark side adherents were routed while the Jedi Order thrived. A large group of Jedi departed Tython, eventually finding a new home on Ossus, where they would eventually join the Galactic Republic as defenders of the peace. So, early history. And here's another quote by K2. Observing the world around them, they saw 2 moons in the one sky, light Ashla and dark Bogan, and they understood the dual aspects of the Force, light and dark. The light defined the dark, as the dark did the light. When balance was not maintained, Tython reacted to the imbalance with severe storms and quakes, and so the travelers defined themselves ever seeking a balance. They became the Jedi, a Dai Bendu term meaning mystic center. Only through the harmony of balance could the Jedi maintain a peaceful world. So in the year 36,453 years before the Battle of Yavin, the Tho Yor, 8 great pyramid ships that were scattered across the galaxy, called out to the inhabitants of the planets they were located on, including Ando Prime, Kashyyyk, Manan, Ryloth, and Dathomir. Through the Force, the Tho Yor convinced the Force-sensitive sentients around them to board the starships, and the pyramid ships then departed the planets upon which they had sat on for so long and set out into the galaxy. The Tho Yor then traveled the galaxy, gathering Force-sensitives of many other species, so that by the time the 8 ships journeyed into the deep core together, they carried members of the Wookiee, Selkath, Twi'lek, Merluka, Iktochi, Cathar, Devaronian, the Nagri, the Sith, the Talid, the Zabrak, Mirialan, Human, Celestin, and Kravaki species, as well as the species later known as the Kuravar. The 8 Tho Yor traveled into the deep core to the planet Tython, where a 9th and far larger Tho Yor awaited them as it floated above a pinnacle of stone. The arrival of the Tho Yor was heralded by an immense force storm that swept over the entire planet, and the 8 Tho Yor first gathered around the 9th Tho Yor before scattering themselves across the planet. The Tho Yor arrival, as the event came to be known, saw each Tho Yor deposit their passengers at their final destination and remain there, with some of the ships burying themselves in the landscape, while others remained floating in the sky. The Force-sensitive pilgrims immediately realized that Tython was uniquely strong in the Force, and the pilgrims, known collectively as the Tythons, soon realized that they'd been brought to Tython in order to study the Force and to learn to control and master the abilities it granted them. However, Tython's beauty came with dangers, and the pilgrims' lives became a constant form of moving meditation on the Force, rather than sitting in silent meditation. The pilgrims also realized that Tython itself reacted violently with Force storms and quakes imbalance between the light and dark sides of the Force, which they named Ashla and Bogan after Tython's 2 moons, the bright satellite Asha and the dark moon of Bogan. The pilgrims therefore formed the Jedi Order, taking their name from the language of the Dai Bendu monks of the Talid species, combining the words Je, meaning mystic, and Dai, meaning center. The philosophy of the balance became essential to survival on Tython, as harmony and balance between Ashla and Bogan maintained the peaceful beauty of Tython and prevented the chaos and destruction that came with imbalance. Over the next 1,000 years, the Jedi built the Jedi temples, cities, and centers of learning and healing centered on each one of the Tho Yor. Padawan Kesh, a Jedi Academy, was established by the year 36,019 years before the Battle of Yavin, when Nordia Grawl was serving as Padawan Kesh's first temple master. Around that time, Master Grawl helped develop the tradition of the Great Journey, a pilgrimage across Tython to each of the temples that all Jedi would take upon graduating from the rank of Padawan to Journeyer. However, as the years passed, the Jedi began to have children who were not Force-sensitive, and it eventually became clear to the Tythons that the planet was not safe for those who could not touch the Force after the city of Aurum was destroyed. Therefore, during the second millennium after the Thor-Yor arrival, a second migration occurred. All Tythons who were not Force-sensitive were made to leave the planet, even if it broke up families, and the non-Force-sensitive settled first on Ashla and Bogan before spreading out to the other worlds of the Tython system. The Era of Peace. Despite the services the Order provided to the other settled worlds, the existence of the Jedi on their isolated world Tython became a thing of legend. It wasn't until the reign of Queen Hadia of Shikakwa that a full-blown conflict erupted between the Order and the non-Force sensitives that shared the star system. In a system-wide conflict known as the Despot War, Queen Hadia led her army against Tython in a series of campaigns in 25,805 years before the Battle of Yavin. Despite massive casualties on both sides, the Jedi Order was able to vanquish Hadia and her forces and return the balance to Tython. While balance was indeed restored, turmoil festered on Tython just 12 years later when the Jedi Order found the wreckage of the first ship to enter the system since the Thor-Yor brought their ancestors to the world. The ship, of unknown origin, crashed on Tython in an area known as the Rift, close to the temple of Anil Kesh, and the mass deaths sparked a force storm of proportions not seen since the arrival of the Thor-Yor. Representatives of the Order investigated the crash site and encountered a sole survivor, a mysterious man named Zesh, who carried a bizarre weapon known as a Force Saber. In 25,793 years before the Battle of Yavin, the forces of the Rakatan Infinite Empire invaded the Tython system. Skalna sought to reverse his species' gradual loss of control over the Force by acquiring the Infinity Gate said to exist on the planet Tython, and his forces attacked the space station, Fury Station, on the edges of the system before capturing both of the gas giants, Obri and Mar. The Rakata and their flesh raider soldiers attacked Tython, but were repelled by the Jedi Order. The Infinite Empire fell back to the forest world of Skagora and conquered it before establishing their main command post there. By the end of the first year, the Jedi had allied themselves with the forces of the settled worlds, placing Jedi Master Rajavari in command of the joint forces. The Order also constructed Force Sabers, the dark side weapons of the Rakata, and armed themselves with the weapons as they recalled the insane Dagan Locke to lead them in battle as Locke had foreseen. So this concludes the Jedi Order Part 1. Next week, we'll pick up the story again with the Force Wars. And as always, I'd like to say thank you to Wikipedia, StarWars.com, Force.net, and other great Star Wars lore sites out there. Folks, if you enjoy the Star Wars universe as much as I do, please visit these sites, look up your favorite topics, and enjoy.
And quick note, if you guys want to learn more about Master Regivari that they just mentioned, or Lou just mentioned in the lore, play the Jedi Consular just through Tython. You'll learn quite a bit about him.
Right. And also, a quick note, folks, I mean, this tonight's and next week's lore topic comes from the fact that if you haven't heard about it, Dark Horse recently put out a series, all right, it's called Dawn of the Jedi. All right, and this is exactly what this is covering. The Dawn of the Jedi is just that, the actual birth of the Jedi, when the pyramids are actually going throughout the galaxy, gathering the first of the Force sensitives and bringing them to Tython, and they realize, all right, why are we here? Okay, they know they can touch the Force, but they don't know how to control it. They don't know what's going on, and now you see them through the next several thousand years become first the Jedi, and then they become the Jedi. If you really want to see that whole story coming to being, pick up that series. Take a look.
All right, so then that takes us into the Community Hollow feed, where first up is the Lore Masters Trivia Question of the Week. For each week, we post a trivia question into our YouTube video version of the show. Go to StarWarsBeyond.com, and we link you right to the episode. On the episode, when you're playing the video, there will be a button to see the trivia question of the week. And alternatively, it'll always be after we say our goodbyes. Then shoot us an email with your answer to If there's more than one correct answer, we do a random drawing to win a cartel pack. Everyone that answers correctly will be entered into a drawing for a much larger prize. Which, Lou, we're about to do that first drawing tonight, aren't we?
Yes, we are. And let's see. You wanted me to go to... All right, folks. Fred's made me go to like a random dice site to pick a random number. Random generator.
Well, before we do that, why don't we say who won from last week?
Okay.
Because he's included in this drawing.
All right. Last week's winner is Mike T, a.k.a. Treek. So congratulations, Mike. And be on the lookout. Yeah, I'm double-checking, and I will get back to you on the cartel pack that you are owed, good sir.
You want to tell everyone what the answer was?
Not really. No. Yes, I will. Okay. Last week's answer is...
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Thank you. It's Ajunta Paul. Okay, Ajunta Paul, who's known as the first Dark Lord of the Sith.
Oh, we're sorry. Your answer had to be in the form of a question.
Dun, 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 dun. So remember, folks, Ajunta Paul takes control. He actually becomes the very first Sith to ever hold the title as Dark Lord of the Sith, because he's numero uno amongst them. But thanks to everyone who came, who answered, and good luck to you for the next part of the drawing.
All right, so this is going to be the drawing for everybody that has entered into a trivia question since episode 1 of our show. Everybody's entries are in here. As everybody that's on this episode can attest, there's a list here. And Lou is going to roll the die and determine who the winner of the grand prize is. And then he's going to tell you what the grand prize is.
All right, here we go.
Dun, 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 dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun,
dun,
dun.
dun,
Number
dun, dun,
is number 18. Come on down.
All right, Lou, so who is your grand prize winner of the Lore Masters Trivia Question of the Week?
All right, you see number 18. Oh, number 18. That is... Hey, it's Robbie S., a.k.a. Sabelle, is the grand prize winner. So Fred, tell them what they won.
Well, what you've won, Robbie S. If you head on over to StarWarsBeyond.com and click on our store page, you can pick any item from our personal store and send us an email and tell us specifically what you want, and we will send that to you. That's your prize.
Yep.
Any item from our store. Just let us know what you want and where to send it. Okay. And we had a little bit of feedback on Twitter this last week. And Ash actually weighed in on our prediction show, where he predicted that in 2015 there would be the nightmare modes of current ops, 2 new ops, 1 PvP mode, 1 8v8 map, 1 4v4 map, 1 GSF map, 1 new daily area, 2 new flashpoints, and a hard mode of the new tactical flashpoints. Seems reasonable.
Yeah.
And Ash also sent us a tweet to let us know that Paige did break his heart when she said that doing dailies with him didn't make him special.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did. Because you're me.
Sounds like something you would say.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Buckeye, if you were a good fan, you would just say she said that because you would have heard it.
I'm sorry. I totally heard her say that.
You
Shut
were
your
too
mouth,
busy.
Oliver.
You were too busy counting. He
Count.
listens to the show on like minimum volume while he's counting and crunching numbers.
And crunching on Cheez-Its.
So, Paige, what's going on in our SWTOR community?
Check out our fellow SWTOR podcasts. Most of them are available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at SWTORnetwork.com. There's ToroCast at ToroCast.com, Corellian Run Radio at CorellianRun.com, UntiniCast at UntiniCast.com, the Unnamed SWTOR Podcast at GetOutGaming.com, SWTOR Skate Podcast at NewOverlords.com. Old Republic Radio is on iTunes, Healing SWTOR is on iTunes, Enmity Podcast on iTunes, Tornoob on iTunes, and the Bad Feeling Podcast at badfeelingpodcast.com. Be warned, that is an explicit podcast. Also, follow Mad Mara at SWTOR Family for the latest happenings in the SWTOR community. If you'd like to have your podcast listed on this segment, send us an email at StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com.
Yeah, Lou, you actually got a shout out on the Bad Feeling podcast a couple episodes ago.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Chuck was asking who the lore nuts were in the community, and Brian threw you in there.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Lou knows
sir.
all. Lore nut. He is the lore master. Get it right.
Well, Lou definitely has the lore market on a monopoly.
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 Dun, 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 dun.
That was good. I liked that one.
Monopoly.
And now, Buckeye's going to tell you how you guys can get a hold of us.
You can find out more about the show at StarWarsBeyond.com. Like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/StarWarsBeyondPodcast. Send us an email at StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. Or tweet us for the show at StarWarsBeyond, me at Sotor Buckeye, Fred at Sith Lord Corv, Lou at GamerGuy11B, Paige at Asafiri.
And now it's time for our final thoughts.
Well, it's been a blast. You guys letting me on the ship. It's definitely been fun taking part in the podcast that I listen to on a quasi-regular basis.
Quasi-regular?
We don't record.
The hell does that even mean?
Shut up. Don't ask questions.
No, it's really been a lot of fun. So I really appreciate you guys letting me come on and having some fun with you.
It's been nice, but we should kick this guy off the ship before he finds anything that could place us under arrest. By us, I mean me.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm good. I'm with Imperial Intelligence. Get out of jail free card right here.
I like
I'll
this
take
guy.
that. Thank you.
But seriously, I really hope that a lot of these things they've shared in the recent Cantina from San Antonio really do happen. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll start seeing more information come out, because there's a lot of stuff that we're looking forward to this year, and damn it, I want to know.
See, I really like this guy. He's shown me how to not to pay imperial taxes, and instead to make the smuggler pay them instead.
I don't pay. Yeah, I mean, I always pay my taxes. And on time.
You a
Don't
liar.
look into my records.
You a liar!
Beyond the Stars is an independently recorded fan podcast made in association with NSG Productions. And now it's time to say goodnight.
Good night, everyone. And remember, if you don't manage your expenses better, Corv, we're going to have to divest you to Disney as well.
Disney didn't want me. That's why I'm still here.
That's why you're on legend status.
Wow.
Bleep.
Good night, everyone. It was nice having you on the show, Buckeye. And good night to our listeners in the live stream and on YouTube, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, all those people.
Thanks, Buckeye, for joining us tonight. It's great having you on. Hope to see you again soon. Good night, everyone on Twitch, on YouTube. See you all again next time.
Thank you for joining us, Buckeye, especially at the last minute notice that we gave you a few hours before showtime. It was a lot of fun, and we hope that you'll join us again in the future. And have a good night, everybody.
You've served your purpose.
Star Wars Beyond the Stars trivia question for the week of 26 January 2015. First clue. My passage into adulthood saw me riding into battle, following the customs of my people. Second clue. Defeated in the war, but not in spirit, I put my martial skills to use in other jobs around the galaxy. Third clue. I would meet my greatest opponent by accident while conducting a routine patrol in my current world of employ. Fourth clue. In turn, I would follow this person as a companion out of honor and respect. Fifth clue. I would be tasked with rebuilding my shattered people to prepare against the darkness from the unknown regions. Who am I? As always, folks, please send your responses to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. And in your email, please include your character name, the server you play on, and the faction you're with. And as always, good luck all. Looking forward to your responses.